Hi guys, my name is Isa and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about why situationships are so hard to get over. Let's get started. I want to show you something before we get started. That's me. That's my paper portrait. My skin is pink. That's my always hairstyle. I'm just not wearing it today. My lip combo is serving. I also did my tattoo. And I have hearts all over me, which I think describes me as a person. So yeah, now let's get started. I love the idea of situationships. I love when I'm in a situationship. I hate when I'm no longer in a situationship and I have to get over it. And that's where I'm finding myself right now. But yeah, I want to talk to you about my experience on the situationship because I feel like I have been dragging it with me and I need to talk about it. I need to heal. So this might be more than, no, this might not. This will definitely be more than just one episode or one video. I will be making a whole series of how to get over your situationship because I'm going to be healing on real time, taking you along with me. Now, something that I have to say, getting over a situationship is not really getting over the person. It's more getting over what they triggered. And that's what I'm going to dive in today. Situationship, my situationship, I'm not gonna say the time that I spent on the situationship, but it was a short amount of time. Now, the situationship means a lot for me, just like the whole experience with this person, just because of everything it woke up inside of me that I didn't know I had. I'll give you context. I came out of a relationship 6 months before being with my situationship, and I will eventually make videos on my relationship, but I wasn't happy in the relationship and I didn't know that I wasn't happy until I was out of the relationship. I basically grieved my relationship while I was still dating the guy. I was so emotionally burnt out that I decided I don't want to have a boyfriend for at least 2 years. Like, I don't want to date anybody. I don't want to be thinking of anybody romantically. I'm just done with guys. Now, my situationship comes along out of nowhere, but when I least expected it, I was thinking this is more than just a few days. This is not just the person I'm talking to. Like, I think I'm actually liking this guy. I liked him physically. I liked him emotionally. I genuinely thought he was emotionally available. He seemed emotionally available at the moment, and I really liked that. I felt chosen. I felt comfortable. I felt excited with this guy. I'm the kind of person that when I start liking someone, I start seeing this person long term. And okay, now that this person is in my life, this is how my life looks like, you know? And it's very, I don't want to say rigid, but there's not a lot of flexibility because, okay, this person is not in my life, this is how it looks like, you know? When I tell you I was genuinely caught by surprise with my situationship, I was not expecting him. For me, it was like, wow, I was not expecting this person to come into my life. I genuinely like him. I'm excited to see where it goes. I am not expecting him to stay long term. I am not expecting myself to be his girlfriend. I'm not expecting this to build into marriage or whatever. I'm okay with this just being a few days, a few weeks, max a few months. I have never met a version of myself who is okay with something not lasting forever. Being able to be that version of myself and think, this is not going to last forever and I'm okay with that. That felt freeing. I just felt so excited for life because that just means I'm going to get to experience so many things that I probably wouldn't have experienced being a different version. So next time something unexpected is going to happen and I'm really going to like it, and I'm just so excited because it's just like a lot of good things are about to happen in my life and they're so good I can't even expect them. Okay, this is what this guy represented. He made me realize this. He made me realize, okay, I'm this new version of myself and I like it. Not only that, I really liked kissing him. And I think that is not something that I fully enjoyed in my last relationship. I don't know why. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I was grieving the relationship while I was in the relationship, but I didn't experience that for a big chunk of my relationship. So being able to experience that again with this guy felt sensational. I get butterflies just thinking about it. Like, it just felt so good. We would be kissing and I would be so at peace. I would like doze off, but not in a negative way, not in a this is boring kind of way. More like, I am so at peace. I want to sleep in his arms. Like, I just feel so comfortable. I feel so safe, okay? I felt so safe with this person. And not only that, I also had conversations with him where we were thinking a little bit longer than short term, a little bit more than just a few days. It was like we expressed interest and we want to keep this a little bit longer. Keep that in mind. I feel excited. I like the guy. I like what's happening. I feel safe. I feel chosen. I feel desired. I basically am feeling what every single person wants to feel, always. No one wants to feel unsafe. No one wants to feel rejected. No one wants to feel like nobody chooses them. I am feeling exactly what every person wants to feel. So tell me why, when I least expect it, it's over. That's why it's so hard. When you go from feeling all of that euphoria and feeling safe and chosen and wanted to immediately feeling confused, lost, alone, rejected, that's what hurts. You don't know what happened. You were just getting started. You were just getting comfortable with the idea of this is going to continue for the next few days. It's not. What happened? What's going on? I don't know what happened on the other side. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what it is. Like, everything just ended so abruptly for me. I just didn't know what happened. Was any of it real? Was this your intention all along? Is he avoidant? Like, did he get scared while he was with, like, so many questions. And that's why it hurts so much, because I no longer feel like how everyone wants to feel. I feel how nobody wants to feel. I think the thing that hurts the most about this whole experience was because I genuinely thought, and I still think, somehow, I genuinely felt like if I opened up myself to him, like if I showed him who I was, who I really am, not that Isa that performs in front of people, not that Isa that feels that she needs to look a certain way, or I don't know, just Isa in her purest, most vulnerable, exposed form. I felt it deep in my heart that he would like that. And I got so excited for that. And now, out of nowhere, this person is gone. I was the one who stopped talking with him, okay? Something happened, I stopped talking with him, but technically this person is gone and I no longer feel like I have a space to open up. I no longer feel like I'm so at peace that I want to dose off because I feel safe. I don't feel like that anymore. And that's why it's so hard, because I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting that. The idea that I had for the next few days was nothing like what actually happened. And I think this is the case for a lot of situationships where you are with someone and you connect and everything just feels perfect. And then out of nowhere, they ghost you. I wasn't ghosted, okay? But I've been ghosted before. So I'm telling you, if this guy had ghosted me, I would have crashed out way more than I did. That's why a situationship hits so hard, because you feel so good and then one moment to the next you stop feeling so good. But not only that, I'm going to take a very big assumption that most of the people who find themselves in situationships are unhealed. And I'm going to say this because I think someone who is healed wouldn't want a situationship. You know, they would want a full-on relationship. And if they didn't want a romantic relationship, they just wouldn't put themselves in a situationship. Does this mean that I'm unhealed? Clearly. I'm clearly unhealed, and I'll tell you why. But I think also keep in mind, I felt emotionally burnt out from my last relationship, so I wasn't looking for a relationship. I didn't feel ready for it. Hence, situationship. So, the thing with situationships is that they stir a lot of emotions and they stir a lot of past experiences, a lot of triggers. Even while you're talking with them, they can still trigger you. For example, if you have an anxious attachment or if you have an avoidant attachment, you will get triggered in your situationship, which is what happened in this case. I'm pretty sure he was avoidant. I'm low-key anxious, but you know what I mean. Once you get triggered in the situationship, I promise you, when this person leaves or if you leave from a situationship, it's not because you don't feel anything. It's not because they don't feel anything. It's because you are feeling a lot of things that require regulation and you're not used to regulating yourself. And that's why situationships are so hard, because they are stirring so many past experiences, so many childhood wounds, so many things that we carry that we are not even aware we are carrying with ourselves. They stir all of this and now we have to face it alone. Now I'm sitting here alone and I realized I feel so rejected by this person, and that hurts me so much. Why? Because rejection, that's a wound I have. And that's why getting over the situationship feels so hard. Not because the situationship in itself is hard, but because the rejection wound is hard to get over. You know what I'm saying? The problem is not the situationship. The problem that you need to focus on getting over is what that situationship is stirring inside of you. If you're feeling like you're not good enough, you're a failure, everyone chooses everyone above you, if you're feeling like you're replaceable, if you're feeling rejected, if you're feeling abandoned, if you are feeling any negative thing that I haven't mentioned, that is a wound that you need to work on, that situationship is putting a light on. So how do you heal from this situationship? You heal by healing your wounds. So then the next time you start talking with someone and you find yourself in a situationship or in a relationship, those wounds won't get stirred up. Am I making sense? So rejection, that's what I want to talk about today. Rejection wound. I realized that I feel rejected by him. And I feel like every time he looks at me, he thinks I rejected her. And I have seen this time and time again with every single guy I talk to. I remember, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, I went out with a guy. We went out on one date and that's it. It didn't get past the one date. That triggered me so bad. And I was so scared of telling my friends because I felt like they were going to judge me. I felt like they were going to look down on me if I told them, yeah, we went on a date and then he never texted me again. Why was I afraid of saying that to my best friend? I genuinely felt like people would look down on me and be like, she got rejected and she got ghosted and there must be something wrong with this girl, like, ugh. And I feel like I've carried that, not that specific rejection, but more like the idea that people will look down on me for being rejected by other people. So I feel like when this guy looks at me, he thinks, she is rejected. There is something wrong with her. She is damaged. And I feel like everyone around me can see that. I feel like everyone around me knows that he rejected me. How do you know if you don't know him and you don't know me? But I feel like you know. And I just want to take a second and validate that perspective, because just thinking about being someone who's rejected, someone who's damaged, someone who has something wrong with themselves but they just don't know what it is, and that's the one reason why nobody wants them, that is so scary. It is so sad feeling that way, because at the end of the day, you're not that way. You just feel like you are, but you're not. Okay, but feeling like you are that person is so scary, because it literally feels like nobody likes you. It feels like nobody will choose you, like you're alone and there is something wrong with you, and that is just so scary. And I am so sorry that I am feeling that. I'm so sorry that you are feeling that. I am so sorry that this is something we as humans experience. I asked myself exactly, how does being rejected feel like? Why am I so scared of being rejected? Why am I so scared of people knowing that I am rejected? Why does being rejected scare me so much? I brought my notes. I wrote, what will happen if I'm rejected? It feels like I will be unprotected, like I will be at a disadvantage. Like if we were at a race, everyone would have a head start except me, and I would have to catch up without anything helping me. Like I will be exposed and ridiculed, like everyone will stand like around me, like point at me. It feels like I'm going to be defined by rejection. It's going to be like on my resume or on my transcript of life. Oh, she got rejected. I broke that down because everything I just wrote is very important. If you're related to any of that, pay attention. But if you want to make your own list of how does rejection feel for you, like why is it scary, then amazing, because it might be different for you, okay? So for the first point, I will be unprotected. Unprotected from what exactly? Like what is happening that I don't have protection for? I couldn't come up with an answer. Number two, disadvantage. Now, the thing with disadvantage coming from rejection, you have to consider the fact that every single person in the whole world has been rejected at least once. They have been rejected by their own families, they have been rejected by their own friends, they have been rejected by any romantic partners, they have been rejected by companies, like job interviews or whatever. But if everyone is at a disadvantage, it doesn't make sense for one person's rejection to be less meaningful than other person's rejection, because at the end of the day, it's just rejection. Next, we are not on a race. That metaphor I gave about feeling like I'm on a race and everyone has a head start, I am not on a race. I'm literally sitting in my room with my journal. I am not running. I am not planning to run anytime soon. I am not on a race with anybody. So that sensation of everyone has a head start, no one has a head start, because I am not competing with anybody. I have my own life. I have my own past experiences. There's literally not one single person in the whole world who has had the same childhood I had. Even if their childhood was similar, it wasn't exactly the same. Why? country was different, parents was different, maybe gender was different, their personality was different, the experiences that they saw outside of their household was different. So there is not a single person in this whole life who has the exact same life as me that I can compare myself to. Even the person who is also making a podcast about healing a situationship, their experience was different. The guy they were dating was different. I hope it was different. If it's the same guy, I'm crashing out, but I hope it was different. You know, everyone just comes from like such a different background, and everyone is just working on so many different projects right now. Like, what I want in my life is so different than what anyone around me wants for their own lives. So nobody has a head start because nobody is exactly at this exact moment of my life, if that makes sense. Next, feeling exposed. That reminds me a lot about the first one, which is feeling unprotected. So feeling exposed to what? Feeling like people are going to ridicule me. Outside of high school, I don't think I was ever like in a room where people were pointing fingers at me or saying mean stuff at me. And if people are going to make fun about my experience of being rejected, they're not going to do it in front of me. They are probably going to do it online, on a comment. They're going to tell their friend and talk about that. They're going to talk behind my back. They're not going to tell me straight to my face. And even if someone was to make fun of me being rejected, it wouldn't be someone that I surround myself with, because I don't surround myself with people who make fun of that kind of stuff. So technically, I won't be ridiculed at all. I might be on social media, but I feel like that just happens to everyone. So it's not really as a direct result of rejection. I think it's just a direct result from social media. Next, being defined by rejection. Something that helps me with this kind of limiting beliefs is making it as ridiculous as possible, which is, if this rejection defined me, this means that before this rejection, I was an undefined person, and not a single person could really describe me or define me down, because I was undefined. And basically, I was waiting my whole life for this one moment where I was going to be rejected, so this could define me. So now that I'm rejected, this is what's going to define me right now and for the rest of my life, and now everyone can define me based on that. That sounds extremely ridiculous. I don't even know if that made sense to you guys. That's how ridiculous it sounds. Plus, that would mean that any rejection I got before this rejection meant nothing, but for some reason, this rejection from this guy I recently met means the whole world. Like, no, like that makes no sense. I am not defined by rejection, even if it feels like I'm defined by rejection. I am not defined by rejection. Now, why do we feel so rejected when we get rejected? It's because when someone rejects us, we reject ourselves. When someone rejects us, we immediately think, oh, he probably rejected me because I wasn't funny enough, because I wasn't pretty enough, because he met someone else, because da da da. Happens a lot when you apply to jobs. Oh, they probably rejected me because I'm not smart enough, because I'm not capable enough, and they could see right through me. When people reject us, we always tend to reject ourselves more, and sometimes we even reject ourselves before other people reject us. And you might be asking yourself, why am I rejecting myself if I hate how rejection feels like? Because when someone rejects us, we see that as a reflection of our worth. If someone says, I don't like you, we think that is a reflection of how likable we are. Now, how can you reject yourself? You can reject yourself with negative self-talk, downplaying achievements, avoiding opportunities, setting conditions for being worthy, valued, or loved, and then abandoning your own needs. Oh my gosh, I feel like this video is gonna be so long. I'm sorry this episode is so long. I hope you're liking it. Why does the word rejection feel so heavy? Why does thinking he rejected me, why does it break my heart? Something that I realized in my healing journey is that we are able to change the way that we talk to ourselves. So if thinking this person rejected me is heavy and it's painful and it makes you feel negative about yourself, you are in all your right to change that phrasing. Let me give you some options. God removed this person from my life. I was being protected by God, by the universe. Our time together came to an end. I am being redirected. I think we've all heard that rejection is redirection. So instead of I was rejected, I am being redirected, and we are in misalignment, and that's why we're not together right now, or that's why we're not together anymore. I think I'm gonna end the episode here because I feel like that is pretty long for the episodes that I normally give. Now, just to kind of like recap or quickly summarize some things that I mentioned in the episode before I finish. Your emotions are valid. Your experience was valid. Feeling safe to immediately feeling unsafe and not knowing what to expect. Super scary, super valid. You're going through it, okay? If you feel rejected and that breaks your world, super valid, because the idea of being someone who's rejected, someone who is damaged, someone who is at a disadvantage and is unprotected is super scary. And I just want to validate your feelings. You are super valid for feeling scared. I'm scared. I think that I feel like I'm unprotected and I feel scared. I really encourage you to break down exactly why rejection feels scary for you, just in case it's different for how it feels for me. And I want you to break every single reason down and just make that reason invalid. Make that reason that sounds so serious in your mind, make it sound ridiculous. Make it not make sense. And that way you no longer have that reason to feel scared about being rejected. And as I said in the video, we tend to reject ourselves before or after someone rejects us, which expands the feeling of rejection. And we do this through negative self-talk, downplaying achievements, avoiding opportunities, setting conditions for our worth, as well as abandoning our needs. Identify which of those you are doing and how you can change them. Last but not least, if the phrase "he rejected me" feels heavy, change the phrase. It is your world, it is your mind. You're the only one who's thinking all of your thoughts. You're the only one who's listening to that inner dialogue. So make that inner dialogue as peaceful as possible. If that phrasing carries a lot of weight and it makes you feel negative about yourself or about the whole experience, change the wording, change the phrasing, make it feel light. If you like this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For the next episode, I will be diving a little bit deeper into rejection and how being rejected by another person is not the end of the world as we think it is. So you should definitely check that out. Am I gonna record it immediately after clicking end on this one? Yes. So I'll be wearing the same thing. And if you like my makeup, I mean, not just this makeup, but you think I look cute and you would like to try any and all of my makeup looks, definitely check out my channel. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I love you. Bye.